call to order the November 14th, 2019 Springboro Board of Education meeting.
Stuckey?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Bowden?
Here.
Palage?
Here.
Goods?
Please stand for the pledge. Well, multiple, look at this one. Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item 1.2 is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Oh, fair catch up. Any discussion?
Stuckey?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Palage?
Yes. Okay, item 1.3 is the approval of the October 29th, 2019 meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Stuckey?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Palage?
Yes. Okay, well, I think we had item 2.1. We just got our overview, which was a great overview, and really just want to send our thanks again to Mr. Smith. That was a great presentation, and really enjoyed the meal. And thank them again for having us. So we'll move into 2.2 then, the Springboro Education Association report. I don't believe we have anybody. Okay, nobody here for 2.3, the Classified Employees Association report. Okay, I don't believe there was any prearranged public participation. Any other public participation? No? All right, we're just cruising right along. So I guess we go to 3.2, I believe it's Ms. Cook, right, with the out-of-state band trip.
These are trips for our marching band at the high school. And we kindly ask for your approval for them to travel out of state. One for them to view other bands in Indianapolis, and the other trip is for them to travel to Florida, as they do each year, and have a wonderful time while they're there.
Any
And they do
questions or-
perform in Florida.
Do they have parents or chaperones, like staff that are chaperoning them?
They have both. They take a team of parents with them that the band parents assist with the trailer. I don't know if you've ever gone to a band competition.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think they could exist without the parent groups. The parents do a wonderful job with the band.
Yeah.
So we'll have staff as well as parents. All approved as far as fingerprint background.
Any other questions? No? Committee reports? We have District Parent Council.
Yep. Board President, members of the board. We've had two District Parent Council meetings so far this year. The first one in October was a presentation of the state report card by Andrea Cook, Chuck Wiggins. Our second one, which we just finished up, was a Mental Health Services Department presentation by Wendy Ford and her team. Both went extremely well. We had a lot of good questions. The mental health department one was pretty eye-opening for a lot of the parents of just knowing what services are offered and how in-depth they go, so that was great. Our next DPC meeting will be in December, and it's going to be a 5-year forecast presentation to the parents. Any questions? Great.
What's the date of
The 5th? December 5th?
it? I missed one.
Are you still on the board?
Call everybody.
Okay. I guess we move to item 3.4, discussion of any other business is required. I believe there's anything. Okay. Let's play with the financials.
Okay. Tonight I have for approval the October 2019 financials. Everything is running pretty smoothly as of now. Cash flows are running as anticipated, which is typical for this year to be under budget in salaries, benefits, and purchase service this far in the year, and we're still running over in supplies and equipment because we're front-end heavy. That happens every year, and then towards the end of the year we'll come back in line. We brought in about $3.5 million, so you can see it's a lot smaller than it has been, around $10 million in July, about $5 million in both August and September, so we're starting to dwindle down on our revenue. Expenditures running at about 4.6 million for the month. Our cash balance at the end of October was 15.7 million, which is about 102 days of operating cash on hand. So those are the, and all the reports are out there for you as well. If you have any questions, you can just email me or call me. And then the next one is item 4.2. We have donations, approval for donations for lunch balances. We have $15 from Ron and Sharon alone. Christopher and Jennifer Myers donated $25, and Real Life Church donated $150. And then we also have item 4.3, approval of the 5-year forecast that I presented at last board meeting.
Okay.
I just put it all together, so you can see.
Okay, so item 4.4 seeks the approval of items 4.1 through 4.3. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion?
How much do you normally need during the course of the school year for donation,
The lunch.
No.
Lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch. She said that, when I asked her the last board meeting, she said they were running about $300 right now, total balances. So I think she tries to keep it at that or under. I know we kind of changed some things a little bit, but the donations right now are exceeding that, so I think we're good as of right now, so.
It would be interesting just as we go forward, just to, certainly don't need to do it monthly, but like, every once in a while, maybe get a check-in and just sort of know where that
Sure.
account balance is at.
Yeah, and she hasn't.
Doesn't have to be very
she hasn't-
frequently, but
Yeah,
just-
and I can definitely do that, because I think it's a great idea, because in the past, we haven't really known how much they were running because, well, first of all, they had a little bit tighter parameters on the fact that you couldn't charge. But then at the end of the year, that's where she was getting the donations, trying to cover the lunch balances, so we never really knew during the year. So I'll definitely check in at least quarterly or.
Yeah, just
maybe.
so we keep an eye on it.
Sure,
I
I
think
think
it's
it's a
good
great
that
idea.
sort of, and there's a lot of interest in the community.
I agree.
And making sure that those needs are met. So it's, I think, wise for us to keep that in front of people. So,
I agree.
any other questions, discussion on that?
Stuckey,
Abstain.
Anderson,
Yes.
Bab,
Yes.
Palage.
Yes. All right, and then we move to the interim superintendent report, Ms. Hester.
All right, I present to you 5.1, the personnel report for November. Short, good. It was a slower month in the personnel office this month, which was great. And 5.2 is the second reading of the policies. And we will vote this evening on the policies.
All right, item 5.3 is the approval of 5.1 and 5.2. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
If we can just, what my question was in email, if you can just state it out loud so people don't think that we're getting away from those policies completely, just the explanation of them being in the guidelines.
So the student code of conduct is not a policy that boards of education or school districts have in their board policy. That's in a student handbook. And so we've removed that out of there, we rescinded it. And then the tobacco policy, we doubled. There were two of them that were almost similar, so we condensed them into the one, the 3215 and 4215.
So it's still things that we're doing in our district, it's just they're in different places.
Yes, and it's just kind of cleaning up
Right.
our policy.
Good, thank you, thank you.
Stuckey,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Bab,
Yes.
Palage.
Yes. All right.
And 5.4 is our athletic report for November, and also 5.5 is the last little athletic club and camp report. There was one that was hanging out there for volleyball, and it's all done.
So item 5.6 is the approval of 5.4 and 5.5. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
I just have a question. What is the difference on the salaries under between a NA and a volunteer?
And NA is in November.
So that's just because it's a
Because
resignation?
it's resignation, yes.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if that was just because it's resignation and personnel. Okay, okay, that's it. Nothing else.
Stuckey,
Abstain.
Anderson,
Yes.
Bab,
Yes.
Palage.
Yes. Okay. To the the Assistant Superintendent of Instruction, Ms. Cook.
I request, please, for the approval of an out-of-state trip for our marching band to Indianapolis, Indiana,
I think we're doing both together. and-
as well as a trip for our marching band this spring to travel to Florida to perform.
Good cover-up.
Yeah, perfect.
She's just pausing.
Dramatic pause. So item 6.3 is the approval of both of those trips, 6.1 and 6.2. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
Stuckey?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Bab? Yes. Palage?
Yes. Director of Special Education, Ms. Stella.
I am seeking approval of student services and private placement contracts, as you'll see in the attachment.
Is there a motion to approve item 7.1?
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or discussion?
Stuckey?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Bab?
Yes.
Palage?
Yes. All right, goodness, we flew through that.
Seriously.
Oh, let's go back and do it all again.
Yeah.
That was just practice.
So I guess we're at the board member report, so if you want to start, Ms. Beth.
Yep. First off, I just think it's, first off, what they're doing here at the Career Center, I think is amazing. I'm sure it's because of your leadership, Charles, so
Thank
thank
you.
you for serving in that, yep. But, you know, it was just interesting to talk to a couple of other board members and to hear different partnerships with other career centers and school districts. And I think we're very fortunate to have what we have here and appreciate our perspective and partnership with our career center, because I just think it's a very, very win-win thing, and I hope that more families understand that what they have to offer here. So I like doing one of our board meetings here every year. A second thing was some great conference sessions this week, so I'd like to kind of think about when we can be sharing out about some of the sessions that we went to. I don't know when that would be the right timing, maybe having a work session or something, but there were just some things that we've got coming up in the next year that I think would be good to share out the handouts and notes and stuff of what we went to. So OSBA always has great conferences, and glad that we're all able to, you know, whoever's able to attend. It was just some great sessions and networking and stuff. So the last thing would be one of the vendor booths was the Hope Squad, which is all focused around suicide prevention. And I talked with him last year, and I talked with him again this year, and something I'd like us to potentially consider is, it was interesting because I was reading one of Dayton Daily News's updates today, and it was around suicide and the percentage of the high percentage of children's death between 10 and 14, it's suicide, and then drug overdose, and just how prevalent that is in society, not just Springboro, but in society. And the Hope Squad is training students to help students. And I've seen lots of different schools in the area that have implemented that. And I think, as we talked about in the last board meeting, with the money from the governor, I know we've earmarked some of that, but this is not an expensive program. I talked to him and I said, let's look at just high school or just junior high and high school. And I went down to 6th through 10th, or 6th through 12th, and we would just be looking at maybe $10,000 or $12,000 to do this per year, to train up and then to have our students involved with this. And I think that is a small price tag for us to have a program that we're really preparing, that we're really supporting our students through this. So it was just a really good discussion that I had with him, and it's just been something that keeps bubbling up, so I'd like us as a board and administrative team to continue to consider, and that specifically as an option. I just think it's a great program. And he said that they'll be preparing for the next school year, like in the fall, they'll be doing the trainings like January, February, because they do have a max number of districts that they can include. So that was it. That was just a great takeaway from OSBA conference.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Anyone else?
No, you're here, so at the Career Center, and they do a lot of great things here. And Rick's Maggie did a nice job. Rick continued that, only he's brought new, like all this data. He's brought all that, which is very helpful to the board. And it's a joy to be a part of it.
Kind of following up with what Lisa said, when I first started teaching back in '78 here at Springboro, this, Career Center was, if you want to better, for a better word, I don't know, but it was pretty much a dumping ground for kids that couldn't handle the high school. And, so they had I taught freshmen at that time, they had to pass my class, which was a civics class at that time, to get in here. But, just to see how it's transformed into what it is today. I know a number of our athletes and people I know have come over here for their programs and have gone on to, to do and have their own businesses, that type of stuff. So, I've talked about this before, but it's really incredible how it's changed. And then winter season is on us with athletics. Fall season ended last Friday, unfortunately, when the football team lost in 5 overtimes. It was pretty depressing, but it was a good season. 9-2, I think they finished up. So it's looking forward to moving into the winter and see what goes on there.
Okay, I don't have much else to add, just thank you again to Mr. Smith for hosting us, and would echo the sentiments of others that it's very impressive what they have here, and hearing from Lauren, our student, the fact that as a high school student, she's already been a part of a birth, that she's trained to be a labor and delivery nurse. I mean, just the thought of having that sort of an experience as a high schooler, I mean, it's just incredible what we're able to do in helping the students here. And so just want to extend my thanks again for the meal and for them hosting us, and thank you to everybody who donated. I know we had, this was just the meals tonight, right? It's great to see the community step up to meet that need, and really appreciative of those donations. So beyond that, no, I don't have much else to add. So anybody else have any announcements, future considerations? No? Okay, item 9.1, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Stuckey?
No. Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Yes.
Someone said.
Yes. All right, thank you very much. We're adjourned.